record. Nice voice.
There it is.
All right. Russell Brown, right?
That's right.
One of my best friends in high school was Russell Galco, and he was the smartest kid in, well, he was the sixth smartest person out of 1,300. But uh, he became a doctor.
Oh,
Of course.
great.
Um, oh, Russell's really good. You guys achieve. All the Russells I've ever met achieve.
We're trying. I'm trying to hold up my end of the Russell bargain.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. So you wrote this?
Yes, I wrote it and directed it. Yes.
You must have taught film somewhere or acting for sure at some place.
No, not yet. But who knows? Maybe
Good,
someday.
you could teach it with that film, this Lauren and Rose. Just do they know that you're being interviewed, or is there some, like you're like that guy who was the in at the restaurant, very good actor. Do you have one of those people who just answers your door or something?
Do I have like a butler like Phil?
He
No,
would
not.
have been. He's a great butler, even as he could as a waiter. He was great, but he would have been just as good as a butler, I think.
Yeah, I'll talk to Paul about that. I'll see. Maybe he wouldn't mind being my butler. Maybe I should be his butler.
Oh, you could trade, 1 week
Yeah.
back and forth. That's Paul. What? How do you spell his last name? Paul
Sand. Sand.
Sand.
Yes.
Wow, he's been
Paul
around a
Sand.
while. I think I've seen his face on television movies 30 years ago, at least, maybe 40.
For sure. Paul's a veteran. He's a veteran actor, veteran theater guy, total pro.
Well, you have access to him. You need to make a documentary of his stories from the film industry.
That'd be good, actually. Paul's definitely got them, and he'd be interesting to listen to about it. He'd be
Yeah, and you could write
storyteller.
it all different kinds of ways depending on the audiences, and yeah, I like that. We should talk. Um, so how's your background before? I mean, what did you do to lead up to working with this great, amazing actress? I had to tell you that she is, I've been making this ridiculously long documentary since like 1998 about film festivals and independent film. And I had a shiny new DVC Pro camera in 1999, and the first major name that I interviewed in my film, and I've been about 100 out of maybe 300 interviews, was Jacqueline Bisset, and
Oh,
she was just so gracious. It was, it really helped me actually keep going with that film, just the experience.
oh, that's great. Well, I'll have to tell her. I mean, Jacqueline is definitely incredibly gracious. Wonderful collaborator, wonderful woman. Just a real special soul and gentle and great to work with and fun.
Yeah, I mean, she just took over the lighting too, so I just listened to her, and she was
Yep.
great. So you have been working in film for probably half your life. I don't know. You look like you've been you could just walk around Burbank and know just who to call like in a minute.
Oh my God, I wish it was that easy. I should probably start walking around Burbank more. I might bump into more people to work with. But I mean, this is my fifth feature film, narrative feature film that I've written and directed, and I've also made a number of documentaries and short films, and yes, that's kind of where I'm at with my career. A play just opened that I wrote, just opened on Saturday night. Today's Monday, so a new play that I wrote that I didn't direct. Yeah, that's what's going on.
That seems like your mother and father must have inspired a ridiculous amount of achievement, and even they're freaked out now. So really, we just wanted to see if you could do some of that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, they actually did really encourage me and support me, and you have to ask them if they're surprised about how much work has happened or what's happened. But I think yeah, I think they're pretty happy with what I'm up to.
That's so cool. I love though, I could see where that discussion where it goes into oh, and what's her name only wrote uh two books. See, some people do it in less, I think it seems like it would have been an equation or a discussion that's going through your own mind, thinking about should I be doing this much? I mean, I'm not spending any time with my cat at all now.
My cat would agree with you. She is definitely feeling a little like I don't spend enough time with her. But I think she would only be happy, my little gray cat, if I spent my whole day with her. Like she's very human oriented.
Uh,
So, uh, you know, I should give her a little more time. You're right. I try to bring her up into my office, but she doesn't want to be up here. She doesn't like it up here for whatever reason.
Oh, she doesn't fall a lot. I actually had a little gray cat. That was my last cat. Her name was Jibbo, and she survived 4 or 5 like you couldn't believe. One big fall, and she was rescued by a wonderful female veterinarian. So that's where the cats are in the film too, and we share a great cat history.
Yeah, well, the cats bring a lot to our lives. They're definitely great teachers and companions.
Yeah, there's something about cats. I haven't had one in a while. It reminds me of an old science fiction story I read where these people were amazing doctors through the whole universe, and they should buy this one. And they had these little pets that kept them secure. And this one guy had to prove that he could do it without his little pet, and be amazing surgeon still. And I don't even know what the point of it was. Why don't you keep your little pet and forget? What are you trying to prove? But there you go. Yeah, cats are special. I should get one back. I will. I'll probably have 6 if we crack through. Um, but there's just something about watching her that is so important to me that somewhere along the line you have to hook up in a Zoom for me to talk to her again. And I'll pull out the old footage. We're about ready to cut. Now I can put the stuff up on my site.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in that reference, since I now have a YouTube channel, we're going to throw your stuff up right away. Okay. So have we made any really bad mistakes yet?
I don't think so.
So we both have the blurry backgrounds because we didn't want to try to rearrange the art and have it cover that we didn't go to take care of our other clothes washing duties or whatever this week yet. So the blurs work. How do you think of my blur? I tried to put all the color in the world in there for my blur. I got every single blanket I had. I threw up and just threw it on and said, "This will add this and that." Your blur is very kind of
Very monochrome. I've sort of
fuzzy.
got 2 colors. I've got white and black blur.
Yeah, yeah. You see how variegated my blur is? It's
Yeah.
like my third blur. I used to really make sure that since I have original art that's worth nothing, but they are original, I would set it up, and I'm sitting there like dying, trying to, oh my God. I know, and I don't know what that camera's actually, the camera shows more from the zoom than it does on my MacBook Pro. I've
Yeah.
noticed it's got a little bit more on one side or the other. And then we got the neat trails. I think it's got a good science fiction kind of look, like we're talking like thousands of miles away, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
beautiful. I mean, somebody's going to complain and charge extra money if it makes it to the final post because he's ghosting over there. And you see how he pops out. You know what we have to do to correct that to make it fit in the Simpy standard? Well, yay.
Well, I hope it works.
So did you know, Jack? How did you get to the opportunity to work with this one of the greatest actresses in the world?
So we have Jacqueline was in a film called The Sleepy Time Gal, and
I,
was a really well received, independent film around the early 2000s, I think 2002. and maybe earlier. But I was friends with the director of the Sleepy Time Gal, a guy named Christopher Munch,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah, I got.
I got to know Jacqueline through Chris. So it was really through a mutual friend that I met her and was able to send her the script and all that kind of stuff.
So you were both out in LA when you met her and still there?
Yeah, we're both still in LA.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, it's the uh like I said, there are so many things to learn there. About making film and about performance and the whole art of cinema that um I think that the film itself, forgetting the whatever putting butts in seats within a certain period, to match what the accountants want to see. Um, but the actual knowledge on the film is so deep that I can't imagine that any acting school or film school wouldn't make this something that they could look at and bring a lot to the students.
I mean, from your mouth to the educator's ears. I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, I think Jacqueline's performance is really pretty special, and the movie does get into these kind of themes of what it's the sort of artist's life and the ups and downs of the creative life and that kind of thing. And I think for students or people who are involved in the arts, it is something interesting to watch and think about the themes in this movie.
We'd like to talk to your cinematographer. I have a sister or nephew site from my friend who's won 6 Emmys as a cameraman for New York One. He does the celebrity interviews there, but it's called Cameraman's Corner. And I would like to really talk to your DP about how because she knows as much about lighting as almost anybody. She's a master of the whole look of it all.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So Jacqueline definitely has opinions on how she wants to be lit, and it's really in service of her feeling comfortable and able to give her most in the performance and feeling relaxed and kind of taken care of. So, they had a Chris who was the DP, Christopher Gosh. Really, they talked a lot and worked well together. I think to get the lighting right.
Yeah, it was worth working harder if he's going to make a better product.
Exactly.
Working harder if you've got an idiot doing nothing right, and the harder you work, the worse it'll get. Uh, you know, uh,
Yeah.
but that's why some of the really great actors or people who know one position that I met, they know other positions or they understand how to use them. And
Yeah. I
uh,
think she definitely does that. Knows how to work the light and the camera and how she's framed, and she's very aware of it.
You had to shoot that pretty much in order, didn't you? From the beginning through. I mean, you wouldn't go and cut back to something too much. If it was,
No, I mean the movie was really shot in sequence, and a movie like this, you kind of have to do it that way. There's no other
yeah,
way, and there would have been no real reason to kind of to
yeah.
do it that way.
But there
So
is a progression that way too. That's very natural. You
yeah,
know, I mean, uh, your male lead, he's a younger actor, um, and he's there with a master. You can have to see where by the end he was twice as good of an actor as he was when he started. I can say that.
yeah. Well, Kelly really, I think a lot of that his performance comes out. I think the character changes a lot over the course of the story too, and becomes more confident. So whatever sort of I don't know nervousness maybe you're feeling in the first third, I have a feeling that Kelly wanted you to sense that from him. He was pretty aware of all that.
Wait, explain that one again. That he wanted. That's pretty amazing that people can do that. I try to avoid the black arts.
Well, yeah, I mean, Kelly, I think Kelly really built that into his character that he was playing is this sort of trajectory of going from, very insecure, to maybe overly confident in the second act to feeling sort of defeated and needing to come to life again in the third act.
Are you sure it wasn't you as the puppet master who created that image into Kelly's mind to implement that? Isn't that what you were trying to put into the script, or was it not?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely put that into the script, you know.
It's
Um,
there, right? It just
yeah, it's in this. It's that
channeled
was
right into him.
yeah, that's really into this. That was in the script, you know, um, you know, I think he was just playing what was on the page pretty well, perfectly actually.
I think they use like coming of age over well over too much. So at least people should really come of age by the end. That's what would be the. Otherwise, film wouldn't usually work, I think.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think that's really if this movie is to fall into a genre, that's the genre that it's falling into. You know, coming of age story.
Yeah. Well, where I saw you just like went right down the coast, and then everywhere there was a beach, you went to a festival and won a prize. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, but you're now that's it. It was a big, Sherman's March to the Sea kind of thing, right?
Hey, more festivals want to show it, we'll take it there. I mean, I love film festivals. I think they're, especially sort of post COVID, it's really nice to be in a place where people
Take
gather
it
together.
to Slam Dance. Take it to Slam Dance. And that's where I met her. There was a Slam Dance film. Ask her about Let the Devil Wear Black. And it was
Huh,
a really good film. And it just never went anywhere because nobody did anything with it somehow.
huh. That happens to a lot of independent movies, you know, like they sort of lose their, you know, they it's hard to get traction as an independent movie, you know.
It was a Hamlet set in East LA basically in like 1995 or 6.
Oh, cool. That sounds great.
Yeah, it was really a great movie. And that was at Slam Dance that year, 98, I think it was, or 99. Go back with this. Take it
I'll
to, oh man, you'll just rule.
well, I think it's, you know, we might be a little late for Slam Dance because the movie's already had so
No,
much.
no, no, just do a special screening. People
All
who are
right,
there are the people you want to see.
from your mouth to Slam Dance's ears, also. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll give you a number to Dan Murray to see what he has the same birth date as me. He has to like listen send it.
Okay.
And Dan wrote the book on like self-distribution too, and he's got 6 features himself.
Yeah, I know. Dan's another sort of, you know, pro out there in the independent film world.
He's a
Good.
really good guy though too, and I think the synergy and the art of bringing this film there, 25 years after that one too, is just be pretty much amazing, I think.
Yeah. Well, that'd be great. I'll have to poke around that idea and see.
Yes. So I get a feeling you got to run. What do we have? You got a few more minutes? Want you to talk to me about the real overall vision of the film that, which makes it like, that everybody should be excited about it in intellectual ways. We're not like pitching something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the sort of human story of what mentors kind of give to us and what we give to our mentors, the kind of sort of cyclical version of, you know, cyclical nature of that relationship of teachers and students, and is really kind of the heart of the movie. And I think anybody who's ever had someone that's been their mentor, you know, or taught them about life, you know, will find this kind of emotionally compelling and familiar.
Well, it's an old and good process. I was only a union for a bit when I was in broadcasting for a few years. But when you started a station, you would get a father who would, who in that position that you were going to work, who knew that skill set. And they would, teach you whatever they could teach you in fast and, keep an eye on you.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really what this is all. That's what's really going.
America has gone away from that now. If he was true to his principles on something like that, the new man will actually remember things like apprentices and how to do it right,
Well, that
and
was a good
not
idea.
make that would be a positive thing to
Yeah.
bring that back to people to, share their knowledge, you know, even if you were what's that lawyer's name? Roy Cohn. He
Yeah.
did share knowledge, did he not?
Oh, that was kind of an amazing movie. I really enjoyed that movie.
I heard people have said it was great. I don't go to anything but films that are below the radar.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get out of this screen. If I don't know if I hit escape, I'll lose everything. I'm hitting the view, and then well, there we go. Exit full screen. I'm trying to pull some other information up. A- at any rate, you're thinking of hitting more festivals.
There's one more. I mean, the movie already played something like 70 film festivals,
70? Oh my God.
thing like that. And then
Open at Santa Barbara.
we started in Santa Barbara. Yeah.
And that's what, when is that? June?
It was in March, and it was
March.
actually the first festival right after sort of COVID restrictions were lifted in California. So it was actually kind of an exciting big deal for that moment because we were really sort of right out of the gate as film festivals were starting again. So it was exciting.
Was that 23?
Yes.
Okay, so Rex Reed didn't make a mistake. And when he said it in the best festivals of 23, the best films from you had that quote in your press kit, in the one sheet.
Yeah. Well, then the movie theatrically came out. He reviewed it in its New York run. In its New York theatrical run.
Which was
Um,
then.
it was a couple months later. It was in that new whatever that it was in the June of 23, I believe.
Well, this is really cool that you can do that. They said you couldn't do that. You opened the film in 23, it should be dead, and you're just bringing it to life like as if it just started. I think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that the tale of movies now, you have the festivals that can go on for a long time, the theatrical can go on for a long time, and then, I don't know anything about distribution really, but there's this thing now where it's day and date, and it's available at the same time, that it's available in theaters, and for an independent movie, you kind of have the flexibility to have like a long, drawn out distribution process, and that's kind of what we ended up doing.
I think that's wild. I think that's really the way things have to go. Especially with this, because it's like it's a real gem of a once in a career's performance. She's not going to play that role again like that. It's not even close. She wouldn't even do a narrative that tied it in with a big giant, because she's got it right there. And the thing about her way she does her hands, that was some of the most sophisticated use of hands I've ever seen. Yeah,
People talk a lot about her hands, and I agree with you. I mean, when we were cutting the movie, we weren't really aware of that. But yeah, she really does have a wonderful use of her. I think she's using everything she can for a character who's sitting in one place for pretty much the entire movie. So you know, I think she knew that this was another thing she had, so she was going to use it.
well, I think so. I mean, look, when the one thing you can do all kinds of things with makeup, but you
Yeah,
can't make hands up.
yeah,
Hands are there, so there's this conflict between how she can look so good at what everybody knows how old she is, and the hands.
yeah. No, it's true.
And
I mean,
she understands that just like intuitively.
yeah, and but the vitality that she has in her eyes and her face, you kind of almost, she seems so ageless to me, Jacqueline.
Oh, look, she could go to. I've seen a lot of people. I met a few of the good masters like Al Maisels and Melvin Van Peebles, and they made masterpieces at about 85, 86. I mean, by personal experience, I'm sure there were 90-year-old people that made it, but I know two that did, and they were their stuff was as good as it ever had been. So she's only 80 now. And
Yeah. Well, I think she's still got another masterpiece in her.
oh,
Someone will figure
I
it out.
think two. I say two,
Yeah.
at
I'm
least.
gonna call her and tell her right after this call. Scott
All
and
right.
Russell want you to do something great in your 80s.
Scott Bear. Way back. Tell her I interviewed her from Let the Devil Wear Black.
All right, I'll tell her for sure.
I do want to talk to her before I finish the cut of the film, and it would be really nice. So hopefully we can.
Yeah.
Anything we can do to help you here, you just let me know. And I think now I'm making commercial pitch. And I'm going to put this up, and I can't cut it, so I'm not saying nothing else. Russell Brown,
Thank you, Scott.
that's a wonderful performance, and you just bucking the whole thing with quality. I love it.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on and thanks for talking to me.
Thanks for that blur background. We had great blur backgrounds.
Nice
Later, man. Nice to meet you.
to meet you too, Scott. Take care.
Bye bye.
See you. Bye.
Ending meeting. Leave meeting. End meeting.